Because we're called to be stewards. God is not called to be a steward because God gives us the grace that we need to be stewards. But we can do a lot on our own. But yet when we cooperate with the Lord, things change. So our lives are like a bucket. And we put good things in our bucket. So we got a good job. Great. I've done well. The company's done well. Oh, I got a bonus this year. Awesome. Kids are going off to college. Oh, I got to get another job. I got another job. So I got a few more bucks coming in. Then I got a vacation coming up. So boy, do I feel refreshed. I feel good. I got good neighbors and good friends, and they kind of lift me up. And so we have all these things that are putting into our bucket that I'm putting in. But so often we look upon these things, these are my gifts. I am just so talented. Just ask Father Ed, and he'll tell you how talented I am. But what stewardship is recognizing the fact that everything I have is a gift from God. From my life, my family, my work, my ability to do things, my ability, some people with great degrees can't even change a tire. You know that. So we all have gifts. And that's why we have stuff in our bucket. But when we realize that everything is a gift from God, and I give thanks to God for that, all of a sudden, things begin to change. Because the Holy Spirit now is coming into my life. And my bucket begins to fill, even as I am doing things for others. I'm donating to St. Vincent de Paul. I'm donating to Lazarus House. I'm helping out at Mission of Deeds. I'm helping at so many other things. But notice the bucket keeps filling up. And that's because we're opening ourselves to the power of God working in our lives. And because we're able to do that, able to be in the choir. Oh, I got stuff left. Going to be acolytes. I was telling him at the 9 o'clock Mass, I wasn't sure how I was going to put this together. And I went over to the kitchen. And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I said, thank God for Pat Barletta. By the way, keep Pat in your prayers. He's in the hospital, Mass General, so we keep him in our prayers. But Pat helped, again, with his talents, helped design the kitchen. So I found all the stuff that I needed. So, volunteers, ushers, religious education teachers. We just finished up confirmation, First Communion. The last ones were yesterday. The kids were awesome. There's like 60 volunteers in that program who get more out of it than the kids sometimes. But that's filling it up and using the gifts that God gives us and thanking God for it. But yet, so often, we kind of go backwards, and nope, it's all mine. It's all mine. And then what happens with that is God's still trying to give us his gifts, but nothing's going in the bucket. Because it's just me. I'm going to take my ball and go home. Because I really don't care. It's mine. And my investments are going to do so great. How they been doing the last couple of months? So my bucket is half empty. Because I'm trying to keep God out of it. and do it on my own. But yet if we turn back to God, God continues to share his grace on me, and he continues to fill my bucket so that I can do great things in caring for others. And I'll have more to give to somebody else. It may be keeping a couple of $5 bills in my console, or some coupons for McDonald's, so that when I get at one of those intersections and there's somebody who really needs something, I don't say, oh, geez, why don't they get a job? We don't know what's going on with them. Here you go. And again, that's God work. And when you do that, God's filling our bucket. And you see, as we honor those who have donated to St. Vincent de Paul, I use that perfect example for today, guys. Thank you. It was Dick Howard and a few others. Adele was on it, who got us kicked off on this a number of years ago. And they've just kind of blossomed. Because what they're doing is they're open to God's gifts. And they do it. It's a lot of work, isn't it? When you go visit some of their friends, to try to help them through their need, there is a joy that comes from that, because you're helping. And what that's doing is, it's letting God's grace in. And God is filling our bucket. And hopefully this will work well at this Mass. It didn't last one. There it goes. It's filling over. All right? That's what happens with our lives if we let God in it. Why is it that the saints are so full of joy? It's because they're letting God's grace come in so they can change people's lives. We are called to be saints. We may be never recognized by the church, and it doesn't matter. Can you imagine lighting a candle to me? But we're called to do God's work. I think of, religious education just kind of ended for the school year. I think of the work that Paula Colpitz puts into this. It's a joy for her. And let me tell you, she's not in it for the money. Nobody who works in the church world does it for the money. They do it for the joy of utilizing the gifts that God has given them to share it with others. So as we begin to look forward, looking maybe, and hopefully you'll look at that commitment sheet a little bit more, bringing communion to the sick. There's a joy in that. But again, it's God's grace that works through it. If we really get into what stewardship is about, it's about God and not me. If we choose God, can you imagine how we can transform the Reading Catholic community? And in doing that, we can begin to change a world that really has gone nuts. Let God in. It'll make all the difference.